intro that the boss lady put together. I don't know why, man, but every time it's going, I'm over here just bopping my head. Marky, another one. Way to go. Way to go. Marky doing her thing in the background, making us bop our heads. So, gentlemen, we're back at it, man. After action workshop. First of all, I want to go ahead and point out that Scallon, you need to dress better when you're coming out in public like this. You can't just be wearing that shit anywhere.
Yes.
Just because the Bills beat my beloved Steelers does not mean that you can just,
Did that happen? Did that happen this week?
That may have happened. That may have happened.
Coincidence that I'm wearing
that's what Doug told me about. I ain't even see it. Doug was telling me. He let me know that the Bills may have, lucked up and beat up on the Steelers one time. So, and maybe I got a phone call and a text from you. I'm not sure.
Maybe.
I'm not sure. Maybe
you got a picture of a dog pooping on a Steelers flag.
Maybe that happened. I don't know. I was a little bit hurt, man. My feelings were a little bit hurt, but that's okay. I know you still love me. So,
yes.
But anyway, we are back, man. So, Chris, what's been going on, man? Since last week, what you been up to?
So, again, as some might know, I'm dealing with a family issue. I a family member that's very, very, very sick, and I have to go up to up north to take him to cancer treatment. So I spent the last couple days over. I got to tell you, I got to give a huge shout out to Rutgers Cancer Center. Tons of stuff that we're doing there with infusion and radiation and all that stuff. And, it just gets kind of down when you go in there, but the staff over there, the social workers, the docs, the nurses by far hold that place together. So, I got to, again, this time of year, and which kind of appropriate we're talking about, but while that's going on, somebody reached out for some help. So again, you guys experienced it as well. In the middle of us taking care of our stuff, we get stuff that kind of comes out. People need help, and so we just kind of jump on it and move on it. But yeah, I'm again last show we were talking about being grateful. I'm grateful for you can always look at the bad stuff. It's real easy for us to be like, well, this sucks. And I mentioned, I got a text from a family member, and my wife was like, got upset, and I was like, what's going on? She goes, I would give anything to get a text like that, because she had lost her family member too. So I'm grateful that I got a chance, even though as shitty as it is to go there, I get to go over there and spend time with the family, take care of some stuff.
Absolutely, man. Spending some time with the family is what it's all about, my brother. That's well said, man. And Dougie, man, what you been up to, my brother?
Oh man, I was in meetings all week with the state of Florida, the wellness stuff we're doing here in Florida, and I think that's it. I've been busy.
Yeah,
getting ready for the holidays. All my sorry ass kids will be coming home to wear me out, and just preparing myself mentally to get ready.
Gotta love them, brother. Gotta love them, man. Same here, guys. Kind of been working, man. Unfortunately, last night I had a death in the family. I didn't get to tell you, Scallon, yet, but a death in the family last night, and it kind of hit us pretty quick. So, she was not doing well, but it kind of happened really fast. Towards the end there, with that kind of caught everybody by surprise. Hello, my brother. I see you in the comments section, man. Hello, man. Thanks for watching. We appreciate you. But that's and then just kind of busy dealing with a couple of people that have been struggling down here in Florida, man, and doing our thing. So that being said, man, and you already started alluding to it, Chris. I mean, it's that time of year, isn't it? It's that time of year, man. The holidays and all that comes with it in the first responder realm here. And we're perfect, man. So everything that happens at the job stays at the job, right? We don't bring that shit home, right?
Yeah, we talked about it the past couple times, but like I very rarely was home for the holidays when I was working. primarily because I don't have kids. And so anybody that had kids, I would take a shift or work if they needed to take off or whatever. I just did it that way, with the exception of like New Year's Eve or like big party holidays that I was super into. But so for me, the holidays is kind of a little bit lackluster, with the exception of like what's going on now with some family members, and again with what's going on with you and Doug's got not the best relationship with the holidays for his own reasons. So what do you do? I mean, we're constantly. This is going to sound horrible, but the holidays for me are just like another day.
Yeah.
But it's like everybody else is like psyched about it. Does that make sense? Like you're the only one who lives this weird thing where it's like, all right, whatever, it's fucking Thursday.
Well, let me ask you this, Doug, and just to kind of go off of what Chris is saying, does the rest of the world seem like they're really psyched about Christmas and Thanksgiving and this, the whole period there, and we're just kind of we're the oddballs out as far as first responders?
I would say so. I mean, only because that's the only thing I know. I mean, I don't know what it's like for doctors and dentists and people like that, but yeah, it's hard to. One, it's hard to be in the Christmas spirit. Let's just use Christmas, Thanksgiving, for example, in Florida, because it's 85 degrees out every day. Where Raul and I live, it's much hotter than the other parts of Florida. And so, it's hard that way. And then what I've learned as a police officer, it's really hard to get into the spirit when you go to work every day and all you see is anger and hate and dread and all the other stuff, the bad components that come with the job. There are police officers and police departments that do cool stuff during the holidays, Christmas parades and take little kids shopping. I never got to participate in any of that cool stuff. So I just that's my take on the police officers and firefighters, I guess.
I will say this, and I say it sometimes when I speak. I asked the question. I said, and they're normally first responders. I said, have you ever met somebody that was so happy you wanted to punch them in the face? And the majority of people are like, oh, 100%. That's like the holidays. Like really, you're like super pumped and all this other good shit. It's a day that I equate it with financial issues. Like, fuck, now I've got like 13 people I gotta get present for, and I gotta do the travel or whatever it is. So it's never like yay, I'm again anything. I'm like you guys. Anything I want throughout the year, I'll get for myself, or my wife will pick something up for me. But we don't.
Let me ask you this then. So, what's your family think about that? Because is there a demand? Is there an expectation for you to be? Hey, it's Christmas, and
first of all, you guys have been to my sister's house. My sister's house. Christmas looks like the Macy's Day Parade threw up all up on that place. There's fucking 4 trees. There's By the way, there's more stockings there. And my sister she's super awesome with that, and my brother-in-law. They're getting gifts for like 300 different people. It's insanity. So I always make the joke that the present I give to them is me being able to show up if I can show up.
Did you feel obligated, man? Like
sometimes you do. Well, listen, like niece and nephew, definitely want to hook them up. When we start getting to like extended family, I come from a huge family. My mom's the oldest of 12. Everybody's got 300 kids. So if I were to do that, I would have to get 4 extra jobs just to pay for fucking Christmas cards to go out there. It's ridiculous. But
what I'm talking about, and Doug, this to you, man. I'm talking about. Did you feel, especially when you were working, did you feel obligated to put on that smile during the Christmas, during the Thanksgiving, Christmas holidays? Did you feel obligated to fake that excitement for the holidays?
Yeah, I'm faking it right now every day.
Look at
be honest with you, because I just, let's just be honest, man. I hate this fucking time of year. From Thanksgiving to about January, I'm depressed. I just hate this fucking time of the year now. Everything aggravates me. I have a hard time just getting into the whole thing. That's just me. I mean, I'm not poo-pooing on everything, but I've had some horrible shit happen to me on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day and things like that. So, yeah, it's difficult. But I also had 6 kids at one time, and so I would have to come home and listen. They don't get it. Little kids, they don't see anything but Santa's coming. I'm going to get toys, and that's pretty awesome. So there's a component where, yeah, I have to fake it around my kids because I don't want them to ever on their special day go, "Hey, Daddy, what's wrong? Why are you always?" They don't even really know the magnitude of what I experienced in my career on the holidays. So I don't share that with them because I don't want to ruin their holiday. Does that make
And
sense?
and so, yeah, man, and I was gonna piggyback on that to that. Um, for a few years there, I felt bad uh, that I didn't feel the joy. I didn't feel, Christmas was, I just, it was like a job. Like, okay, here, here's $500, go buy whatever we got to buy, and kind of going through the motions. And I'm looking at my kid who is, just, they're kids, so they're just all into the Christmas spirit and the family's into it. I'm like struggling to bring the tree down, and hang up an ornament. You can, go scope, what with an ornament. And but then again, I'm looking at everybody around me and I'm feeling bad because I ain't feeling it.
Yeah, I will. So, like what we talked about last time and a couple times before, we talk about we could point out all day long, and I think what's wrong and all the shit that goes down and all the bad stuff. But I think it's also important we talk about what's our message to you guys. And so, I would say this when we're in this holiday time, I preface the holidays by the holidays are, for me, are what I've experienced in the past or what I'm going to experience in the future. Again, that's living ahead of me and behind me. But when we're talking about like the holidays, and I really made an effort this when I went up to New Jersey, to be present. It's real easy for me to get upset that I'm all right. Well, I'm spending the fucking holidays at a fucking cancer clinic. That sucks, and I get it. And by the way, we weren't the only ones there, right? So I had to make the effort. I said, okay, this sucks. What's good about it? And I was thinking about like what Doug said. Well, what's going good with your life? How about the fact that I got to spend time, with my family members, regardless of the circumstances? And I kept on thinking like, all right, if something bad happens, or if this is the last time I'm spending this holiday, let me be here for it. Let me not be, oh, I remember, the last couple Christmas have been horrible. The last Thanksgiving was this, or next year may not be as great, but forget that. Right now, with the people I love, I get to spend time with them and be present. So I think the message that I think I would like put across to people, it is not easy. It's not, I had to make a distinctive effort to be like, okay, I'm here. Because I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, all right, I got a long ass drive there, long ass drive back. I'm going travel next week. Oh, it's going to snow. And I'm like, stop. I'm not driving right now. I'm not doing anything. I'm hanging out. I had to do so. I renewed, interestingly enough, one of the joys of being present, I renewed my mother's driver's license because her computer went down or something. So I was there. I jumped on the iPad and I was like doing the stuff. And it asked for like her what is it, like Republican, Democrat, her affiliation, whatever, like that. And so I was fucking around. I was like, oh, I'm gonna make her a Republican, like just like, but again, if I wasn't trying to be present, I would have just been filling stuff out. And so I was joking with her. I'm like, hey, guess what you are now? you're an independent, right? So she's like, what are you talking about? Or when we were doing the treatment, you can order food. Well, the food showed up late, and I was like, really? Like, my family member doesn't eat, and so this is the one time that they're gonna get a chance, and you messed that. And I was like, wait a minute, I'll stop and get something. I don't give a shit. So being present in the midst of what normally is for us a really not great time of the year helped a little bit. I will say that one of the things that because we talked about it earlier as far as like football and stuff like that. My family members very, very into all different kinds of sports, football, basketball, all this good stuff. And the games require you to be present. So good, bad, or otherwise, like my family member's a huge Giants fan, which was abysmal their game this week, right? But we got a chance to bond over how bad they were.
You see that kicker?
First of all, first time in history somebody ever stabs their foot into the ground before kicking a ball, which I was like, you gotta be shitting me. But
you see that shit, Doug?
But that shit like
I could do better than that.
Yeah.
And I'm fucking disabled.
But that right there, if I was thinking about what happened before, what happened after. So we were sitting there and I was talking with him. I was like, hey man, have you ever seen that in your 5,000 years of existence? He's like, no, never. I was like, what's going on? He goes, that's what they do. they do shit like that. So just kind of being
and
present.
So no, well said, Chris. I mean, and you're absolutely on point. I just want to make sure that people that we talk about and make sure we identify some of the things and let people know that some of the things that may be going on in your household, in your situation. You're not crazy. You're not by yourself. You're not alone in this. These are things that happen to us. And then we're going to come back, and I know we're going to circle back around to being present, because that's one of the tools that you gotta do. But I was going down the path of feeling guilty because I'm watching my family, watching my kids, kind of go through this whole thing. And is there? I always say this when I'm presenting, but does your family know? Even though you swear that you're, or at least I did. I swear I'm Denzel Washington, right? And you're hiding it, right? And you're putting the face on Dougie, and you're trying to look happy. But does your family know? Did your kids know? Are they sensing the change? I mean, talk to me about it. I mean, even though you change.
Let me ask you this, Raul. Does it feel like you're watching an episode of your family?
Yeah, watching in that third person type thing, kind of watching the whole thing happen. Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like I'm going through the motions. And
they pick up on that.
Yeah, and it took me years.
They pick up on it.
Years to realize that I'm not as good of an actor as I thought I was.
I don't think we give credit to our family for appreciating that this might not be a great time for us.
Right.
I will tell you this, which I know Karen knows what you're going through, Doug, and this time of year especially. So I know she does what she can to make it. She takes on a heavy load with putting everything together and doing all this. Although I'm pretty sure that Doug is the one that does all the Christmas decorations and gets the cat a new Christmas hat. No, but you know what I'm saying? Like but your kids will do that too, and your family members will be like, all right, we know this is not the greatest time for me, you, whoever, and they adjust. But I think in our minds we're like, I'm a super actor. Like no one knows what I'm going through.
Nobody knows, right? You're thinking nobody knows, but
they know.
Go ahead, Doug. I'm sorry.
I said they know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they can feel it, they can sense it, they can the tension, there's just little things that happen. Of course, the people that are closest to you can pick up on, so we've got to be aware of that as well. That it's as good as you think you may be at hiding it, especially around these times, because in October, not a big deal so much, right? It's not it's not nothing really going on in October to worry about. And in September and August, maybe Labor Day's in there somewhere. But outside of that, just kind of normal days, right? But I tell you, this between Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's Eve, that's just that's just kind of a period that's supposed to be high and kind of stay in this euphoric state. That's why I think everybody's always a euphoric state of Christmas. I am just the opposite. And it took me years to realize that my family knew.
So we got a question in,
Mhm.
and I was going over it. Again, for the purposes of keeping people anonymous, trying to make this vague. I get really small this time of year. I get kind of quiet, not reflecting or anything, just kind of withdrawn. I don't seek others, and I loathe the whole perfect family on TV shows and Christmas people falling in love repels me. I get reminded of all the things I wasted my whole blah blah blah, all the whole thing. So here's the thing, and in the question, you kind of address some of this stuff. Go outside of your comfort zone. If you're withdrawn, make an effort to be more engaged. And here's the thing where I think we're losing sight of, especially this time of year. It's not to celebrate, again, for the reasons, whether it be religious, whatever, to celebrate stuff like that. But more importantly, what I think it is, it's a chance to connect with your family. And this is like a hall pass to talk about stuff that bothers you or that what you might be going through or struggling, so that you and your family can kind of work it out, or at least get it out on the table. And in just getting it out, sounds weird, but in just talking about it out loud instead of in our heads, there's a catharsis that occurs. We unburden ourselves with it. So rather than sitting there being like, I'm just withdrawing, kind of standing back, and to be quite honest, TV in general, whether it be a Christmas show, which is complete and utter bullshit all the time, or any other show or whatever I'm watching, TV is just TV, right? I can control what I do. So making the effort, and I did this not too long ago, because somebody asked, I went to, it was like a business lunch or whatever. And I purposely, and where we were set up, I purposely sat with my back to the front door. Not because I wanted to, because I hate doing that, to get out of my comfort zone. And organically, the conversation came up, was the person I was with like, are you okay? I was like, let me explain to you what I'm doing right now. And they're like, what's going on? I said, I'm purposely sitting with my back to the door, even though I feel like there's spiders all over me because I should be facing it and seeing the end coming out, blah, blah, blah. He goes, so why'd you do that? I said, because I don't want to live like that.
Right.
I want to make the effort. So I can be upset in a month from now going, man, I wish I could have engaged with somebody. Or I can be like, hey, I made the effort to engage, whether it works out or not. I'm not saying every time you do something, step on a ledge, you're going to be good. But I made the effort. I made the effort to come out of my shell and to face whatever's bothering me. That to me is important. What do you guys think about that? Is somebody talking about just the downside of what this person's going through?
I was going to say, just add to what you were saying, is that it doesn't need to be a grandiose step. It can be a small step, right? And whatever that may be, saying hi to somebody that, you really may not have talked to, last week, or picking up the phone and talking to somebody. And I'm just pulling stuff at the top of my head here, but just doing some kind of small step in that direction will help, because a small step leads to the next small step. So doesn't mean that you have to take a huge step, a grandiose gesture, just something to kind of be present. We were just talking about being present, just something, a small step to be present in the now. I think that's kind of how I did it, with the help of therapy. We took small steps and we kind of made a little plan. And this is year round, but made a little plan, but more especially around these special holidays type deals. So I think that's something that can work. What about you, Doug? Any suggestions on that, man, as far as, just trying to get through the holiday season?
Realistically, man, it's the power of positivity.
Yeah.
You have to. I do, and clearly, I do almost daily. So I'm the type of dude, like a lot of my SWAT guys will message me on Christmas Day, Merry Christmas. And so I'll originally look at it and go, man, fuck you. I ain't heard from you in 364 days, but because it's Christmas, you know, and then I have to tell myself, cut it out. Don't be negative. It's a special day and that person's thinking of you.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's that power of positivity. I complain about my kids. They stress me out. And like, I worry because I always want to make sure that they're happy. And it's to, you know, when you have 5 now, and you just want to make sure that everything is perfect for them, right? You stress yourself out, you kill yourself, and you buy them everything they want, and then them little bastards show up with a shirt from BJ's, which is our Costco. And I'm like, God dang, really, man? I'm a fucking Costco shirt. We're at that point in our lives. So you got to just prepare yourself, you know, with positivity. One thing that you know, so I had a really traumatic event on Christmas Eve one time, and my therapist, you know, Denise, reminded me one time. She goes, "Man, that's just something that happened on December 23rd or 24th. I don't know what day is Christmas Eve.
24th, 24th. Yeah, Christmas Eve, 24th.
So,
Yeah.
you know, the 24th. That has nothing to do with Christmas or Christmas Eve. Don't rob your family from that. That's just something that happened on that day. That day ain't no different than the day before, the day after. As you know, Raul, and as you know, Chris, from September 11th and Pulse nightclub, that's that day ain't no different than the day before. You guys always talk about, oh, everybody calls me on June 16th, but what about June 17th and June 18th, right? So, you know, I have to kind of remove myself from that negative element, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm rambling, but
No, so you said something that I was just going to touch on, and it's 100%. Christmas, Thanksgiving, and we actually mentioned it last time. Normally, whether it be Easter, Thanksgiving, whatever it is, or New Year's, there you get an influx of texts. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Thanksgiving, all the blah blah blah. And I thought to myself, I was like, I can't stand getting all these fucking texts. First of all, it's mind numbing and blah blah blah. And then I did exactly what Doug was thinking. I was like, because I was going to send a couple out too, and I'm like, I'm thinking about who I want to know that. Hey, listen, I'm looking at, and I don't give a shit what it is. Happy birthday, Thanksgiving, whatever it is. And I'm like, the effort that they took, albeit not huge effort, like they're not doing anything crazy, but they took the time to think of me to send me on a link. That's huge. That's huge. So, do I choose to get upset that I can't put my phone down without it ringing 13,000 times, or they're getting the text alert? And then I'm thinking, well, what would it be like if I didn't get those?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I'm grateful for it. Just like you said, Doug. I think that's so that is what making an effort looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Revisiting something that maybe bothers you or might be this uncomfortable or just, you know, just something that you look at and immediately I go to, I can't believe I got to do this, or I can't believe this is happening. Or the prime example was the food. I can't believe we're up here getting treatment for cancer and these fucking guys won't even send the food up in time. Mm-hmm. How about I now have an opportunity to get some food for my loved one, or I'm actually takes an effort. But what you said is so on point. As much as those things may bother us, and they bug the shit out of me, make the effort. Somebody's made the effort to include you, albeit how big or small.
At least they're still thinking about you. You know, even if it's one time a year, at least they're still thinking about you. And
what I did, and because I looked at what Doug, what you always say about calling people up. So I got that, and there's a couple people that I'm not like in a text thread with or anything like that, but I've known for years and years. When I got that, I said, I'm going to send this person. It made me think of, hey, let me send this other person. Hey, just checking on you, thinking about you. Because the last for Thanksgiving, we talked about it. A buddy of mine sent on a text thread where we just goof on each other all the time. He goes, hey, I know we do this for fun and making fun of me. But I just want to let you know, hey, I'm thinking about you, and I hope you guys are doing okay. And I'm like, fuck that. I mean, you can't buy that kind of awesomeness. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think we have to. I'm going to reiterate that when back to the question we got from a viewer that taking a small step and maybe making contact with somebody else will have that same effect to give somebody else that kind of joy, and there's some joy to get from that, knowing that maybe you taking a small step and just saying, hey, I'm thinking about you, even if just a text, while like you said, it's not a huge step, it's not a grandiose step, it's not a huge gesture, but it'll let somebody else know that somebody is thinking about them and loves them, right? So, and you just don't know what that means to somebody else. So, and that again is kind of stepping out of the comfort zone, so little things like that do work, man. Absolutely. And so really quick, I wanted to kind of make sure we touch on all the points. Like, what are some of the barriers that we think, why are we the way we are when it comes to the holidays, and as far as just communicating it with our families? Like, why don't we tell them what's going on?
I think one of them, first of all, for the holidays, there's a lot of scheduling, there's a lot of timelines, there's a lot of to-dos, and there's a lot of things like that. We do that all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at work. And when we come home, we don't want to do that. So, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you go pick this up from the store? Or can you do this? Or can you mail that for me? Becomes like, really? Now I got to do all this shit when I come home, blah, 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 as opposed to taking a second to, again, we're in that mindset of, I got to do this. This is ridiculous. And it kind of takes the fun out of it. It's become a big thing in the last couple of years where like, hey, what are you going to do for this? Because again, my family's kind of spread out and up north. I said, I'm actually just going, like Christmas coming up. It's going to be me, Jill, and the dogs and the cat. And I got to tell you, I'm super looking forward to just that.
God damn, I'll trade you, man.
No, fuck that. I don't want to. Listen, I've been in a Hispanic family house during the holidays long enough. I don't need that kind of drama.
Hey, we have a question here / statement. Basically says that they feel bitter towards everyone and everything, and don't want to participate in anything. But if they make themselves participate and do it early in the season, even if it's in a small way, they don't feel as negative.
That's 100%.
Yeah.
Those are those little changes, or the effort that we can take. So instead of saving it up and be like, all right, I'm going to be happy, jolly for this day or two, let's ease into it. So it's more of a common practice, and then it becomes almost habitual. What I don't want people to do is we're great at trying to manipulate other people. We're even better at like kind of manipulating ourselves. Mm-hmm. Do it genuinely. Do it not because you want to be presenting better for this holiday, but do it because you want to feel better while you're with people in those times. So like kind of leading up to it. What they said was on point. I like that because that's real.
Yeah,
that's super real, and I appreciate that.
It absolutely is, and I think I think that's exactly a better way for me to do it, because it's kind of like procrastinating, right? You wait, and then all of a sudden the damn task is just too big and you can't do it. So doing a little bit, kind of getting into it, making small steps, I think is just the best way for me to kind of handle that stuff.
Doug, let me ask you a question, because you brought it up earlier, that you'll get a text from somebody like once a year. What if you got a couple texts before that throughout the year? Then do you pay a little bit more attention to that one? Like, okay, boy, and it's not a bad thing. I like that, but I think there's a little more meaning other than just. And again, not to take away from somebody that's taking time to be like, hey, Doug, Raul here, happy birthday, Merry Christmas, whatever. But if you get it a couple times a year, like what this individual was talking about, like doing it gradually, I think it means a little bit more, because you're trying to create this atmosphere of, hey, I'm not just talking to you on these special occasions. I'm making an effort on a Tuesday in June You know what I mean?
What's the word I'm looking for? You're kind of building the relationship. You're adding to the relationship over the year instead of just for one day. But when I was a kid, my dad was only nice on Christmas Day. And I'm not trying to be funny or boo-hoo me, but my dad was only cool to us on Christmas Day. The rest of the year, he worked 24 hours a day. It was like, it was that day of the year that, me and my brother and sister were like, oh man, we get to play with dad, or it's going to be a good day. So, you got to keep that in mind, that your kids and your family members, most of them are just grateful that you're there, that your presence is there. So and you got to keep in mind that be grateful that you're even at the dinner table.
Yeah.
Be grateful you're
at the big table. At the big table.
At the big table. I just got to the big table and I'm 56. I had to buy the fucking house and the table in order to get to it. But man, Christmas Day,
Karen only lets you sit at the big table for a few minutes, man. Then she'll threw you away.
All she does is referee. Y'all can't say that. Watch your mouths, because when the boys show up, I got 4 heavy hitters. And so when they show up, man, their language and their conversation, and I've been dealing with it forever. I just kind of chuckle, but I find myself at the dinner table, and I think I've shared this story before. One of the twins called me. He was in the field, and he had to build a snare, booby trap, explosive booby trap, and he was going to be signed off on that day. And so they FaceTime me, him and his crew, and they said, Dad, will you check this out for us and make sure we're going to get tested on it? And I was like, man, you guys are awesome. Great job. And they said, hey, Dad, Logan said, Dad, I just want to be as successful as you. And when he said that, my answer to him was, son, you know what makes you successful? I said, when you're sitting at the dinner table on Christmas and all your kids are there because they want to be. That's what makes you successful. I use that term for my kids. And that is the one moment, as much as the day is rough for me and the time's hard, that is the one moment. And I get to experience it this Christmas. I will have every one of my kids and their loved ones and my grandson here this Christmas. So I'm super excited about that. But for that moment, it's that one, just I'll be grateful that I'll be able to, that I'm still here, because 3 years ago, I wasn't supposed to be here, as you guys know.
Yeah.
And so, it just
to that extent, we keep bookmarks, the shittiest bookmarks for certain times of the year.
Yeah.
Doug just replaced his shitty bookmark with a great bookmark.
Yeah. Chris, I was going to ask you and Doug, you guys both take this question. Should we, or how should we communicate to our families the reason that Christmas Eve, stings? Why New Year's Eve stings? New Year's Eve is Christmas holidays. I got a couple different reasons, but New Year's Eve just stings. Went out on a fire actually. And old lady home alone, man, and just a cigarette. Fell asleep, cigarette caught the couch.
Yeah.
And and the firefighters know, and Chris, you'll know this, but that's a distinct.
Yeah, those shitty. So I'm just referred to what our commenter said, and I think the time to explain why Christmas or New Year's Eve or whatever holiday is bad is not during that holiday. It's before the holiday.
Right.
And if you haven't done it before the holiday, then you kind of edge in. Again, you don't want, by the way, and you guys know this as well, like in my house, my family and stuff like that, if we are not fighting at some level, it's not a holiday. It's we thrive on it. We have a great time. Somebody said some shit. Me and my sister will look at each other like, I can't believe they did that. Or somebody will do something goofy or what, just all sorts of shit. But so, again, I would avoid, like, this is the year I'm going to tell everybody why I fucking hate this day. probably not the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Maybe kind of leading up to it. And I think reaching out to somebody individually as opposed to, all right, everybody gather around. Let me tell you why this day sucks.
Yeah, an announcement. Let's not make an announcement. Right.
That's not that nothing ever, nobody, I've yet to be at a hot family holiday where somebody's like, all right, I got something to say. And it's been like, I love you guys. It's always been like, you suck. You're horrible. You're a piece of shit. Like all these kind of things. Like, can you believe what this asshole did? So I like if since we're all family here, like me, Doug and Raul, and we're coming up to something or we're getting ready to do some stuff, I'll reach out to Raul and they'll be like, hey, listen, this area. And Doug, we just had this with like New Orleans and stuff for specific reasons. Like, hey, maybe I want to avoid this but we're not doing it. We're not there and going, this is why this sucks. We're giving you a heads up. I think almost like a courtesy, like, hey, listen, if I'm out of it a little bit, this is why. Like Christmas at the Raul house is going to be a little bit different this year.
Yeah.
That's okay. I don't know if you guys realize this, but shit happens like all the time, right? So I think this Christmas can be a great, and I only say this, and it's unfortunate. I say this because I'm going through some stuff where we're dealing with folks that are end of life type situations, that you gain an appreciation for the times you do have, that you don't want to waste them. That being said, there is some joy in the arguments that I have with me, my sister, my cousin, the family. I love, that's part of the whole thing. I think it'd be weird if we were all sitting there all just happy, joy the whole time. We love on, and then we make fun of each other. One of the, I mean, like, and just so you know, I'm with my family this past week, and again, got to watch a game and stuff like that. When the Bills beat the absolute shit out of the Steelers, I just want to out real quick. It was almost like they're playing a high school team, but regardless, I remember. I was talking to one of my family members. I said, because they knew Raul and other Chris was a Steelers fan. He's like, are you going to send him something? I was like, I'm not sending shit until that game is over because something weird will happen. And so I remember once it was over, I looked at him and he's like, you going to send it? I'm like, oh yeah. So, but it was one of those things where I made that day, as shitty as all the stuff was going around it, I got to fuck around with Raul and Chris and do that stuff. And as maybe some people don't get that I will tell you, if you were the group of first responders and you're the only one that nobody's making fun of, it's because they don't like you. That's 100%. Because if I don't like you, I'm not going to waste my time doing it.
Right.
But I got to share that, and I could only do that because I was like, I had the opportunity. Because I will tell you right now, if the Bills would have lost, which is just ridiculous, that wouldn't happen. But if the Bills would have lost, I'd have still sent something to Raul and Chris and something like,
right, of course.
And you guys are cheating, but that's because the engagement, the interaction. It doesn't always have to be super like, oh, I hope all is great in your world, because it's not. It's not great in Raul's world, not great in Doug's world, not great in mine. But we can make little things great while we're going through that stuff. So
I'm reminded, when I was asking the question, Doug, you always talk about in your presentation in reference to coming home on New Year's Eve excuse me, on Christmas Eve, and speaking what you just witnessed, and then that kind of taking the turn that it did. So it kind of leans into what Chris was just talking about in reference to maybe having that conversation outside of the Christmas holiday, and or lead up into it. So because we got to be, we have to be, and then they have to be careful of how we do that. But we need to have those conversations. Everybody agree on that? Some type of conversation.
Yeah,
I think it's an opportunity to build a new memory or a new bookmark.
Right.
And again, we mentioned this previously, and a big shout out to Dr. Anger over at University of Kentucky. But he talks about how the smell is such a powerful sense that conjures up nostalgia, also fear, and all this other stuff like that. Some of the stuff that like for the holidays and stuff, which is kind of normal, it's the smells of the house, somebody cooking or somebody bringing in food or all this stuff. For me, it's 100% food. Somebody's going to make somebody's going to try to copy my grandmother's dish or my abuela's dish. They're going to fuck it up. And then that becomes something that, like, well, I remember how that used to smell. Now you've ruined it for me, kind of. You know what I mean? But it's in jest, right? And we're having fun. But the other thing for me, and I know you guys don't get it because Florida basically lives under the sun's armpit. I like going outside, cold air, and just taking in a nice deep breath through the nose, cold air. It reminds me of, you know, being up north and stuff like that. And that's such a familiar, happy time that it's kind of one of those things. And when we're talking about it, like around the table, and we stopped eating at table a long time ago. It's everybody like, it's like a big buffet kind of style thing. And because what we did, I eat just as much standing next to the kitchen table than anybody else, right? But like, oh my God, the last time I smelled this, and you talk about good memories and stuff like that, even bad memory, but you're engaging. You're being present while reminiscing, but also like, hey, how you doing? Or you got something coming up? We had in my extended family that was when I was up there, a very, very, very young newborn that had to go through surgery this past week. And again, surgery for me or for an older guy, it's rough, but when it's for a very, very young, but I remember the joy of being like, okay, the surgery's over, it's done, and everything went well. Whatever the relationships were prior to that or during what was going on, it became about, that's the good thing about whatever it is. Me and you may not like each other, but we had something good going on and something to celebrate.
Mhm.
So again, just kind of, just in what you guys are saying and just kind of reiterating what Doug's talking about, just that being present and trying. Because I'll tell you, it's super easy to be a piece of shit on these holidays and just to withdraw. It's super easy. Did it all
It's
the time.
easy for me every day. So Christmas ain't, you know, it's my natural instinct is to be an asshole. So on a good day, on an average day, so on a holiday, just, you know, people tag everything to the holiday, and it's really not the holiday. It's just it's just something that's happening. So I'm notorious for that, right? You know, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening, and it's Christmas. No, this is just happening, and it's not in Christmas. You know,
Yeah.
you've got to try your hardest to separate the two, and just be grateful. You know, one of the things I wanted to mention, we had talked about this earlier, is a lot of police and firefighters, they they struggle so much on Christmas because they work their ever living asses off all year long to provide for their families. And then when the holiday comes, it's this feeling that you've not done enough. I haven't done enough for my spouse, my kids. I'm not providing enough. Oh my God, it's fucking Christmas. And that's really not it. I was that guy. I wanted to give my kids everything. I still do. And all they want is just FaceTime.
Mhm.
That's really all anybody wants on the holidays, just to be in your presence, really, and to be around the family. And you don't realize when you don't have it. So I don't really have much of my family left anymore. I don't have mom or dad or grandparents or aunt and uncles. And you can realize real quickly how important just being in the moment in the presence,
Yeah.
not presence, you know.
Well, I'll say this because I don't think we touched on it. For those in command staff, or for those that are working, it's one thing for ourselves individually to kind of figure out what we need to do at home and stuff like that. But it's another thing to what the leadership or what frontline supervisors need to understand is that this time of year comes up some crazy overtime or part-time work that we could do that. But there's also something, and I used to do it too, because I saw it done. I modeled myself after supervisors that I kind of admired, and they'd be like, "Hey, I need you. Go ahead and go home early, or I don't need you tomorrow, or come in a little bit later. Spend some time with your family. Make sure those little things that the job can do. Understand that the job exists, right? whether you're having a good time or bad time at home. So why can't we kind of make it a little bit better for the folks that are dealing with stuff? And again, we don't ever know what somebody's dealing with. And I'm not saying supervisors should be in everybody's personal business, but having consideration that maybe somebody needs to be home more than they need to be at work. Because I got to tell you right now, and we say this all the time, if any one of us were gone while we were working, the job still continues. We're not that awesome, right? Everything is going to go crazy if I'm not there. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
You're not that important, right? So if you're working, and I always did that. If somebody need to take off early or maybe adjust their schedule for whatever reason, I don't give a shit if like, hey, listen, because some older family members don't stay for the whole night, right? Maybe they come in for the earlier part of the celebration, and because you're getting off late, you're not going to be able to see them. Hey, I got you. I'll cover you. Go do what you got to do. And again, I'm not saying do anything outside of policy, even though I give a shit. Right?
Another question here, and you both kind of hit on it, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What would you tell? So Sergeant Scallon, retired Scallon, and SWAT team leader Doug Monda. What would you tell the first year rookie Scallon and the first year rookie Doug Monda about the holidays? What would be the thing that you would say that hopefully would change how they viewed the holidays and how they approached it from that point forward? What would you say to that recruit?
I know what I would have told me, like when I was first starting and doing all the work. If you're like, all right, listen, go spend time with your family, I'd be like, I work at a great ass job, and again, this before I got jaded to it, but I was like, I love doing this, I love doing that. I would tell them it'll be here, whether you want to believe that or not. It's going to be here. Are you going to miss out on something? Maybe not. But I will tell you that this job is gone. This job will leave. Your family won't. So put the effort in your family more than you do the job, because the job will drop you like a bad habit in a fraction of a second. Not to say that you don't have to do the job, but don't give it more importance than the family who's going to be there after this job is done. Because when you realize that when this job is gone or it's done or whatever, that all the stuff that you sacrificed to do that is for nothing, really.
Yep.
But maybe your family will know that, hey, listen, I made an effort, and I may not listen. This year I'm working this holiday, but next year I guarantee you I'm not working this holiday, or I'm doing this, or we're going to do whatever it is. But the job is not more important than the family. That's what I would say. Even though I know if you'd have told me that earlier on, I'd have been like, all right, whatever.
You may not have listened. You may not have listened to it. Yeah, I get you. And Doug, you already were ahead of us, man. Like, you already talked about that FaceTime being the thing. Is that what you would have said to yourself back, 25 years ago? Don't forget the FaceTime and how important that FaceTime is with family.
Yeah, because I was such a dedicated guy. I mean, everything I've ever done, I go 120% into it, and a dedicated guy to the career and to even all my sports, is always first, and everything else second. And now that I'm older and I was going to say wiser, but I don't think I can use that. And now that I'm older and I look back and see it, I would tell them, go home. And when you go home.
Be home.
Yeah.
I would tell the rookie, and I hate calling people rookie. I would tell the new person, the newer cop, hey, you have to find a way to separate the job and the family, and the job and the holidays. That's going to be your hardest task. Anybody can learn how to be a cop, and anybody can learn how to do anything. But that's the real task, is learning how to separate the job from the family, leaving it at work. And that was a problem that I had, because I had only been a cop. June to December. How many months is that? Is that 6
months?
6, 7 months? I'd only been a cop that long when I had that, that little girl die on me on Christmas Eve. And I don't want to forget her.
Yeah.
Right.
I've had clinicians say, "Oh, do EMDR." No, I don't want to forget her. I spend every Christmas Eve with her. I take time out to spend Christmas Eve with her. I don't want to forget her. She got robbed. She got robbed of a lifetime of holidays, of days that we get to spend with our family and our loved ones. And that poor little girl got robbed. So, I don't want to forget that, but I have to find a way, and I had to find a way to come home and leave her at work. And that's what I would share with anybody.
Again, I don't. And again, I would say, and again, I don't want to forget all the horrible, all the people that struggled through some horrible shit, or that did it, made it. I think there's a difference between forgetting or reducing the trauma associated with them, and remembering. Like you could still remember somebody, and I got to tell you, like when some good friends that I've lost along the way, I spent a lot of time feeling guilty that I wasn't feeling as bad, because that meant I was forgetting them. Doesn't mean that I was forgetting them so much as it is, I think I'm processing the loss, and then I can remember the good times, as opposed to putting that, associating this person with this horrible thing, even though that's sometimes the only thing that we're kind of aware of. But I remember that, and this is a tough one, because it's complex, is when you start feeling a little bit better or not as impacted by the loss of somebody, you can feel guilty that you're letting them go. Mm-hmm. I don't think you're letting them go. I think you're letting that pain go.
Pain, yeah.
And keeping them in your thought. If that, I don't know if I explained that right, but that's kind of.
No, I like that. Thanks for saying that, because letting the pain go, but not letting the
memory
go. Not letting it.
100%.
I mean, I still hold on to some pain, as you can tell. You can see it in me. That was 26 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, your brain doesn't give a shit how long it was.
No, and it's it's unfortunate in some aspects, but there's a good side to it. There's a good side to it.
Yeah. I will tell you the one thing, because people used to always be concerned about getting emotional about whatever it is. To me, the scary thing is not getting emotional; it's not becoming emotional. Yeah. Or not, like we talk about this, and I know we're going to be wrapping up, but like the opposite of love is not hate. It's indifference. It's, I don't feel anything for you. Right. Hate is something. So being angry or being sad or being super excited, that's good, because it's giving us a context that I'm still feeling. When I stop feeling, that's a bad sign. So just kind of keep those in the back of your head when you're navigating.
Sure. Yeah, man, we're coming up on time, y'all. So I'm gonna try to wrap it up here. And also I coach football, so one of my kids is signing a scholarship today. So I'm gonna try to go and be there for that. That's just cool shit, and I try to be there, because that brings me joy, and I love seeing that stuff. So I'm wearing, this is our district champ.
You just want to get free tickets when he goes pro.
Yeah, when he goes pro, man, with the Steelers, I want to make sure I got free tickets. But with that, guys, we've kind of said it all, man. Remember, anybody out there that's listening to us, if you or anybody is struggling with anything, reach out to us. Our credits will be, our information will be in the credits. Remember, you're not alone. We are here for you. Reach out. We will do anything we can do to help you. And with that, any last words, guys? Last words?
You're not alone out there in any kind of struggle. And if you need something, we can help you out. We can help you out. Just give us a shot.
Absolutely.
Happy holidays,
y'all. Thank you very much. We'll probably see everybody next week, maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
We're flying next Wednesday all day.
Right,
Guess,
we're gonna be
yeah,
and
we
you're
get to go see fucking Santa Claus ourselves next
I
Wednesday.
think Chris is
Yeah, I'll be up there. I'm leaving Sunday too. I'll be up there.
Yeah. So we'll
You
talk
guys
about
see, Raul?
huh?
Do you see the I sent you the weather outlook
Yeah,
for where we're
I
going?
saw that shit. I don't want to look at it again. So
Yes.
anyway, guys, hey, I appreciate you guys. Have a good day.
Love
Happy
you guys.
holidays.